Mr. Liebman, in going over one of the questions or comments that was made by the public advocate, let me ask this question. Were community education councils, who are the elected representatives of the 32 community school districts in the city of New York, and they are there by the fact that the state education law requires the community education councils. Were these CECs consulted prior to the final determination of closing of schools in their respective districts?
Mr. Chair, I want to be really clear here at the beginning, and then I will answer your question. I'm prepared to testify about the progress reports and other activities of the Office of Accountability, and happy to answer everything I can where I know. Where I don't, obviously, I don't want to bring information to bear that's not accurate. The process of going through the closure process and going forward with that has not been a primary responsibility of my office, so I will tell you what I know and provide you with additional information afterwards. The CECs, as in the past, were not consulted before the announcement they are being consulted now. This is entirely consistent with the process that has been applied for the last several years, and that process is designed to bring to bear as much information as the Chancellor and his senior leadership team can bring to bear to determine what the appropriate response is to severe educational failure that is taking place in schools. This year, that information gathering process was even broader than it has been in the past, both in terms of the information that was brought to bear and the consultation with people familiar with the learning environment at those schools concerned, including a series of interviews that took place with the affected educators. The unions were consulted and others were consulted as well.
So answer my question. Were the CECs consulted prior to a decision to close the schools in their respective community school districts?
As I said, following the process...
You've explained it. You don't have to re-explain it. I'm asking a very simple question.
And I already answered the question.
I have not heard a yes or no answer.
I said no.
Oh, you said no?
I did.
Okay, and yes, I heard an explanation.
Now, I answered the question and then I explained it.
I thought you said you were going to explain it first and then answer the question. That's what I heard you say.
I answered the question and then I explained it.
Okay.
And I'm happy to do so again.
Mr. Liebman, you indicated in your explanation of answering a no answer that there was a broader, wider consultation. Let me ask you a question. The individuals that are on the CECs are parents, PA presidents that are elected by their respective constituency of the school. And they have, in my opinion, the closest working relationship from a grassroots point of view. Do you believe that parent leaders should be consulted in determining whether or not a school should be closed in their respective community or not? Do you believe that be the case, or they should not? As the Chief Accountability Officer, I'm asking you what your belief is.
I believe that the Chancellor and the senior leadership team who have to make these difficult decisions should go about the process of gathering the information that is necessary to close those schools in the best way possible. And I believe that the process that was used was sufficient and adequate and indeed very comprehensive for those purposes, and that the consultation that is taking place now during that process, as it has been in the past, has provided the decision makers here with the information they need to make the decisions, these difficult decisions that they have made.
Well, you know, I agree they're difficult decisions, but what I gathered from your response was that the Chancellor and those that are making the decisions do not feel it's necessary to consult with parent leaders who are elected by their constituency who represent that particular district. And let me just say that to you. As the chair of the Education Committee and as a former PA president and as a community school board president. That is totally unacceptable, and that's the direction the chancellor's going. He's in big trouble, and that's why these parents here are giving him an F for that lack of consultation with them. Because that type of attitude, where parents are not, parent leaders, whose children are involved in the system, and Mr. Liebman, you have children in the school system yourself. You said that in your introductory remarks. And if in fact you were the Parent Association president, representing your school on the CEC, and the decision was made to close your school, you'd probably be right in the audience holding up an F sign yourself. And I'm not going to go on any more on that because I'm getting a little annoyed, quite frankly. And you're a very astute, educated individual, and you give very diplomatic answers. But regardless of whether or not you explained it or not, the simple answer was no, the parent leaders were not consulted. And also you said that they consulted what they needed to consult with to make the very, very difficult decision, and obviously parent leaders were not part of that consultation process. So I'm going to leave it there. I've already got my answer from you. Let me just go to the question that I had here in front of me. But I had to ask that because the public advocate raised it as an issue of concern that she has as a city official that's supposed to advocate for the parents and the people of the city of New York.